One of the most powerful members of the new Republican House. Congressman Darrell Issa will chair the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. It's his job now to investigate how the federal government is using your tax dollars and any possible wrongdoing in the Obama administration. Good morning, Congressman. How are you today?
George, I'm doing fine. It's a little daunting to have someone say one of the most powerful, but thank you for mentioning the investigations and the need to have accountability.
Well, you got to own it now, Congressman. Let's begin with what John Carl was just saying there about House Republicans maybe resisting this potential compromise on tax cuts. As you know, if no compromise is reached, everyone's taxes will go up on January 1st. Can you accept this compromise that is now being floated about a 2-year extension for the tax cuts for the wealthy, permanent for everyone else?
No, I can't. Tax certainty is important, and it's important for the investing class probably more than anybody else. And so when you look at small businesses and their need to make decisions about investment, you're looking at people who probably you want them to invest today for the next 2 years and maybe not make so much money back, but eventually make more money. So if anything, this is wrong-minded. In some ways, you should say, look, if you invest today, we'll let you get a better deal 3, 4, 5 years from now, because that's how you create jobs. Hopefully we'll come to a compromise that does allow people to make decisions beyond just this tax year.
Okay, let's move on to your responsibilities as chairman of the Oversight Committee. You're going to have more investigative power than just about anyone on Capitol Hill. Like a prosecutor, you can issue subpoenas for information, compel witnesses to appear. And just before the election, you made a pretty serious charge on Rush Limbaugh's radio show, saying that President Obama has been, quote, one of the most corrupt presidents of modern times. What did you base that on, and how will you follow up on that now that you have the power to investigate?
Well, George, I want you to understand, one, it was the heat of the campaign. Two, this was not intended to be that the president personally is corrupt, but his administration received $700 billion worth of walking around money in the stimulus and used it just that way. A great deal of it was used for political payback. This has been a very loose administration, one in which, although some people have worked hard to try to account for where the money went, pretty much the money went just about anywhere the president wanted to, and that's got to change. Presidential earmarks are just as important to end as congressional earmarks, which now have ended. I mean, there's no question, the Republicans taking over the House, there will not be earmarks. That era is behind us.
So let me just press that. You no longer stand by the statement that the president is one of the most corrupt presidents in modern times?
I think his administration has a lot of explaining where the $700 billion went, where investigations that should have gone on, particularly into Acorn, an organization that he had past influence with and should be willing to do a lot to end. I think those have to be dealt with, but quite frankly, this was a statement made, rightfully so, about the corruptness in Washington under his administration, not him personally.
Well, you just said rightfully so. Do you stand by the statement or not?
I stand by the statement that this administration has failed to be accountable, failed to be transparent, failed to do what they said they were going to do. But most importantly, you can't have money being spent for political purposes, rewarding the unions and the public employees on the taxpayers' back. Understand, the problem we have in Washington today is people think that a job in the government is somehow saving a job. It's not saving a job, it's saving government. It's not creating one real job in the private sector. That $700 billion is gone. We have to figure out, one, where it went, and two, how to keep it from going away that way again. Okay, the American people cannot afford that.
I understand that, but you have no evidence that that $700 billion was dealt with illegally in any manner, correct?
Corruption and illegality are very different. The Joe Sestak situation is certainly a matter of corruption. Whether it's illegal or not, whether other administrations have done it before, isn't the question. The American people don't think that government jobs and government positions should be used for political purpose. So it's certainly an example where I'm not going to worry about whether or not it was a crime. I'm going to worry about whether or not it can continue. The second half of the name is reform, not just oversight, not just investigation. We're about accountability and efficiency as much as we are about investigation.
We are out of time. You are no longer saying President Obama has been one of the most corrupt presidents in modern times, correct?
I'm certainly saying this administration is going to have to straighten up and fly right. It'll be our job to make sure government money isn't wasted. I've never made that a personal statement, tried never to make that a personal statement about the president. So if that's backing up from it, I'm not saying the president is personally corrupt, but his administration has to change direction, particularly as to taxpayers' money.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman.